Let's go to Mercedes Stephenson, who is outside waiting for the Prime Minister. Mercedes, you're going to be heading off almost immediately on the 40-day campaign with the Liberal Party, with Justin Trudeau. This will be a different campaign for him than it was back in 2015. There's no talk of sunny ways this time. This really is his election to lose, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? It would be historic, Donna, if he lost it, because typically Canadians give governments, after one majority mandate, another turn. It may not be another majority, but it's usually a minority. And in fact, only twice before in Canadian history has there been a situation where someone lost after a majority and getting that for the first time. 1878 and 1935. So certainly the pressure's on there for Justin Trudeau, but he also has the advantage that Canadians recognize his name. They recognize his brand. He doesn't have to come from behind. Now, the downside of all that is he has to run against his own record. Broken promises on things, for example, like electoral reform. The SNC-Lavalin scandal, which was so counter to that Sunny Ways brand and the promise of transparency. And today, with that Globe and Mail story alleging again that there's obstruction, that there's not transparency in the government, that they're not releasing documents. And there's people who voted for Justin Trudeau, and we know this because they've told it to pollsters, and we've heard it anecdotally, saying they thought he was different. So they may not vote for him this time because they believe he's different, but will they be willing to give someone else a chance? That's always a higher risk in a voter's mind, particularly when they don't feel they know the other candidates as well. So an advantage in being an incumbent because he's no longer coming from behind, but also the disadvantage that you can't promise you're something radically different than the status quo. And it's always easier to poke holes than it is to build up. So I think how you're going to see Justin Trudeau framing this is not give me another chance or give me a chance. It will be let me finish what I started. Let me continue the things that you chose the first time. Let me have a chance to implement them. And this really being framed as an election that is about choice. They will see the Conservatives and try to position them as going backward and going to Stephen Harper. They will try to contrast that against the premiers in the provinces like Jason Kenney or Doug Ford, particularly in Ontario. They will try to play against Ford's numbers here. He's not been popular, and they will say, do you want that federally? So that's the advantages and disadvantages that Justin Trudeau has coming in, but he's a very strong campaigner because, Donna, remember in 2015, no one expected him to win, and he delivered a significant majority.
Yeah, certainly came from behind back then. Mercedes, we're just waiting for the Prime Minister. We've got a 1-minute warning, so we expect to see him shortly and hear from him. Just quickly, where the leaders go is indicative of where they think they have the strongest chances and can make gains. Where is he going today?
We're headed out to you, Donna. We're going to be in Vancouver tonight. I'll be on that plane. There's a big campaign rally planned with a former television anchor who's running out there, a high-profile female candidate. And certainly Vancouver is going to rank really high for the NDP, the Greens, and the Liberals in this campaign. It is one that they need to take, any of them, if they want to do well. So I think you're going to see all of those three parties spending significant time out there, starting with Mr. Trudeau this evening.
And so British Columbia will be a battleground. What's the other big battlegrounds we should be looking out for?
So the other big battlegrounds you want to look out for are Quebec, where we know from the most recent polling this morning that the Liberals are significantly ahead, but the Conservatives have really been pushing their ground game there, trying to gain. The NDP needs to, at a minimum, maintain something they've been struggling to do, hopefully convince more seats from their perspective to be able to do half decently. So that's going to be a major battleground, whether it's Montreal or especially up around Quebec City and in northern Quebec. There's some ridings in play there that could be 3- and 4-way splits. The other area is the GTA, as we call it, the Greater Toronto Area, or the 905, which is the area code there. There's a lot of swing ridings there and undecided voters, and ridings that flip back and forth between the Conservatives and the Liberals. They'll be driving very hard in that area, and that, of course, is where Jagmeet Singh is launching from today. He's in London, Ontario. But this will be a really unique election in terms of seeing elections, particular ridings, where there's 3- and 4-way splits between the parties. We've usually seen a 3-party system, in many cases, mostly 2, but those splits that could hive off just a little bit of the vote could flip ridings in unexpected directions because of the way that our political system works in Canada.
And it's interesting, you talked about where the party leaders are going. The Conservative Party, Andrew Scheer is in the air, along with our Abigail Beeman and the rest of the reporters en route to Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And we've been told that their plane was rerouted to Quebec City because of fog. Don't usually expect weather to be a factor in a campaign that's happening in September, I mean, really, the winter, snow can be a devil, but fog has already derailed plans for the first day of campaigning for Andrew Scheer. That can't be a happy day for those campaign team.
You wonder, the whole thing, is it an omen? They'll say no, but no campaign wants to start off with a bump like this, especially when they wanted to pursue the SNC-Lavalin. It's not their fault. They've not done something wrong. It's fog, but campaigns are funny things. The littlest bump, the littlest change can affect people's perception. They're highly unpredictable, and that's why we go into it saying, well, here are the polling numbers, and Daryl certainly can speak to this, but you don't know what the outcome is going to be because of those unexpected things. You remember the Conservative campaign bus that broke down a couple of elections ago, and it became seen as a symbol for the Conservative campaign. So nobody wants that. They're going to have to try to turn it around. Obviously, it's a minor thing, but it's fascinating in politics how minor things that aren't even mistakes the campaign has made can be delivered, and that people, here we are talking about the fact that they can't land because of the fog.
Yeah, they're unpredictable things. And